The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. So I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten-free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. This week, I'm really extra happy about, and no, I'm not going to make her sing. I might make Jim sing, but we have Kat Perkins on the podcast this week, and I know you all know who she is. You may know her from The Voice. You also know her from many different performances around the Twin Cities and elsewhere. Kat Perkins Christmas, the Folsom Prison Experience, and the many bands that she's formed and created. And also, I have personal friends that loved her that COVID. She brought the party to people at home. So much to talk about coming up with Kat Perkins.
Great episode, great get from Dawn. Of course, this is Dawn of Sports, Dawn Mitchell Show at talknorth.com. Best way to listen to this show or any show on the network. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's easy. Thanks to our other sponsors, Lexus of Wayzata, natrium.com, and Minnesota Masonic Charities. Once again, great to have Kat. Dawn, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Jim. So, Kat, thank you. Thank you. And I know you're in mid-tour with Kid Rock and doing all the things, but taking a little break. Thanks for joining the show. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I am so great. I'm so happy that it's summer and I'm so busy. I don't even know what day it is, but it's super fun.
I was going to say, like, it's one of those, my parents always watched this movie growing up. If it's Tuesday, it must be Belgium or something like that. Like, how do you keep your days straight? I don't even know how you do that.
Well, the good thing is like, I don't really have to keep my days straight at all. I can just wake up and know what I'm doing that wonderful, superb day, and then just keep moving on. So that, you know, I don't need to know if it's Saturday or Monday. It doesn't matter. They're all great days.
Why I wanted to have you on this podcast, and Jim knows this, Alex, our producer, knows this, is that I love strong women who are not afraid to go after their dreams. And let me tell you, girl, you are the personification of that. Because before I even met you, I know that the Schaaf brothers told me all about you before you even went on The Voice. And I said, I'm in. Whatever this woman does, I am in. For people that might be listening and they don't know, and you've done so much more musically before you even got on The Voice. So I kind of feel like starting there is kind of like cheating you a little bit, but we'll back up too. But to have that experience, to go from, many people say just to go from being a nanny to The Voice, but you were in bands and you sang your heart out before that. How crazy did your life become once you got on The Voice? Adam Levine loved you and it just seemed you exploded. How has that been for you?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you watched me on season 6 of The Voice, it maybe seemed like I kind of came out of nowhere and
right.
And I was a nanny in the Twin Cities, and that's, you know, where they caught me in my life, was where I was sort of taking a break. I went into a bit of an early retirement in my singing career, but I had been singing professionally since, oh my gosh, I mean, since I was about 15,
I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But wow. I was in a band called Scarlet Haze, and you know, so I had a lot of experience in the music industry, and I think when I went on the show, and, you know, in retrospect now, where it lasted for the viewers, you would have seen me for a strong 3, 4, 5 months on the television show, went all the way to the end, then yeah, everything did explode. And I think the first thought was, well, this is what you always wanted. This is what you had been working for. This was exactly what you had in mind when you were 5 years old and you first went on stage. But at the same time, it was a lot. It was a lot to handle. I luckily, you mentioned the Schaaf brothers. I luckily had a lot of people around me who had a lot of experience and really great advice. And even as a strong woman, it was really important for me to keep those people around so that I could flourish and use, what had just happened in my life to keep moving up the ladder and keep leveling up and keep following that dream and making sure that I was doing what I wanted to do.
What was the hardest thing in all of that? It must have been like a whirlwind, but what was the hardest thing that maybe you thought you were prepared for, but you really were not?
It still happens to me this day. I mean, the hardest thing is I'm not a person who, I don't know. I always say I'm not a person who looks up. Like when I'm at the airport or at the gas station, like Matthew McConaughey could be next to me at the gas station and I wouldn't know. I don't really look around, but the hardest thing is getting recognized and like being in these public places, especially around the Twin Cities area where I live, and somebody running up and saying, "Oh my God, are you Kat Perkins?" And it startles me to this day. And it also is so heartwarming and so amazing that people care enough to say hi or to say, "Hey, I voted for you on The Voice," or I watch you on television, or I have been to your shows and I'm a huge fan. So that's still hard to get used to because I'm like, how do you even, sometimes I'm in my pajamas and like no makeup and they still, and I love it so much, but it was very hard to get used to. And, I have to I feel like sometimes I have to always be on, but yet I've learned in the past several years that I can just be me and people still, they'll still say hi and I can just be authentically Kat.
Exactly. Because knowing you, because you're so down to earth, you're probably like, "Oh, hi." And you're probably thinking, where have I met this person? Did I go to high school with them? And then someone's like, they know you, you don't know them.
I'm sure you go through it too. And you're like, should I know you? Or, the worst is when people say, "Do you remember me?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, hang on, give me a second. Let me go through the brain files of all of my years on this earth to try to remember where I know you from."
You know what I have learned in those situations? You always say, "It's good to see you." You never say it's good to meet you, because I'm like, "I've met you 5 times." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
That's exactly what they'll say too. And I know I did learn that early on to be like, "It's so nice to see you." And that's a lot better.
What I do love about you, and what I love about this area of the Midwest is it doesn't matter, because you're originally from North Dakota, but you are a Twin Cities adopted daughter. Like, you're ours. We're not letting you go. We'll share you with North Dakota. It doesn't matter where you came from. We're not letting you go. Have you felt that love?
Oh my God, absolutely. In fact, to the point in Minnesota where like North Dakota people get mad and they're like, "Oh my God," when I'll do like the national anthem for a sporting event or something and they say Minnesota's own, I get a ton of emails saying, "Hey, you're North Dakota." And
She's ours.
I feel the love to be pulled between these two states. But the truth of the matter is that I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else. I've lived in Minneapolis for I can't even believe it, like 25 years. Granted, I moved right after I graduated high school, but and I had to. There was much more opportunity out here, and it wasn't I wasn't like shoving off North Dakota. It's still part of my story, but I am so glad to be embraced by the Twin Cities.
Oh, what I do love, I already knew you, but I said, I really want to go see your Christmas show, Kat Perkins Christmas, and your dad, Mark, your dad was performing with you. And then to find out later, I did not know this, but find out in the show that he was your music teacher and, taught the kids in your school. And my heart just burst, I think, at that moment. To see it come full circle. How beautiful is that? And the fact that your dad can travel with you, do the show, that must mean so much.
It means so much to me. Listen, he's tried to retire like 5 years, but but I keep him going. And I'll tell you what, like, honest to God, when we're in our Christmas tour, we're going like every single night of the week. We do like 20 shows in 30 days. And like, he is the one with the most energy for some reason. Wow. And I'm like, how? And I just want to be like that. I mean, I've always wanted to be like my dad, but I think even more now when I travel with him, I'm like, he is such he is an icon. Like he's an amazing human, so talented, and he keeps it going with me on the road. And he loves hanging out with the boys in the band. Like that's how he grew up. He was in a band. You know, I definitely come from the bloodline of it all. And I think it's nostalgic for him. And my boys just embrace him so much in the band. And they have this camaraderie. And one of our other musicians was also a teacher. So he's got awesome connections with all sorts of people in my life. And he continues to teach me to this day, whether he knows it or not.
Oh my goodness. So what I love, and you mentioned the guys in your band too, that so when COVID hit, and that hit everyone, first of all, you had the concerts that we could kind of watch online and things like that. But then you decided, we're going to take the show on the road. Like literally, we're like going to, if you want us to come in your backyards and play. And I had friends of mine that hired you guys to go and play for, I think their nieces' birthdays. And they just said this, the joy that you spread. How did that idea come about? When everyone's locked down, you're like, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to still work? How did that brainstorming happen?
I remember it so vividly, and it's so wild that was 5 years ago now, but
I know,
because we had been on the road all the way up to like where the actual shutdown happened. So we were like in New Orleans, I believe, on like March, you know, right before the shutdown, right before the 14th of March. And we flew home, and we were sitting, the whole band got home, and they came here came to my house to get their vehicles and whatever. And I said, you know, what are we going to do? And that was where the question started. And it probably took me about 3 days later where I was like, listen, fearless is my motto, always has been. It's tattooed to my skin. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how can we be fearless in this moment? And it all started in my neighborhood in the Twin Cities where I live. And we just started to go and sing for people as if we were doing like a singing telegram. We'd knock on the door, we'd back up at a safe distance, and we would just sing. And they'd be like, what are you doing? And I was like, listen, you know me, like all my neighbors know me, and they know I'm the loudest kid on the block and always having rehearsals and playing music. So I was like, I just feel the need to spread joy and to check on you guys and to sing you a little song. And then it just progressed and progressed and progressed from there. And, you know, we got a lot of flack for possibly not being safe. But I tell you what, we made it the safest as possible. Everyone stayed socially distanced. We would send everyone a note who wanted me to come to say, here's what you have to do. Like, I will call you out on it. Like, you have to stay distanced. You have to be safe. And then this beautiful, beautiful thing was born. So then halfway in that first like 6 months of doing it, I was like, you know what we can do? The best thing we can possibly do is just to give back in this moment. We're already, you know, trying to spread joy, doing the things, but then we started to get tip money. And I said, hey, you know what? We should donate all of our proceeds to, pick a charity. And we started donating to Second Harvest Heartland for families in need of food and people in food crisis in that moment. And I just got the chills talking about it because it became such a big deal in that moment to give back. And I think the universe then gave back to me. And we were like able to provide, it was something crazy, like over 20,000 or 25,000 meals for people around the Twin Cities just by doing that and donating money. And at the same time, we had a blast. And I was in a bubble with my guitar player. So he lived at my house at that time. So we were safe. We were together, and, we weren't, getting ourselves into trouble health-wise that way. And it just worked out perfectly. And honestly, I want to continue doing it for the rest of my life. We still try to fill in the blanks a little bit with people. We have one coming up in a couple of weeks. Wow. And we have a lot of regulars that happen during COVID. So we go and visit these neighborhoods, and I'm like, we've been here like for 5 years. It's amazing.
Oh, it's great. It's like caroling on roids. Like that's what you said. It's so great, right? It's like, oh my God, it's a singing telegram of love.
Yes, on roids. And of course, and we turned it into, and we still do in the holiday season, we still turn it into caroling, and we come to people's driveways and sing carols. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Another thing I love about you too is that, first of all, you're a sports fan. And throughout the years, yes, I've seen you post all your Vikings. You are decked out. You go to these Vikings games, you're all decked out. But I've also seen you at Twins games. I've also seen you at Gophers games. And you sing your heart out at the anthems as well. But you are a fan through and through, aren't you?
Huge sports fan. My dad definitely raised me right in that way as well. Not only music, but he raised me right into just really getting into sports teams. And growing up in North Dakota, we kind of had a choice. It was like Denver was close as a metro and had some teams, or Minneapolis. And so my dad was just a huge Vikings fan and Twins fan. And like, I remember the 1991 World Series. And like, I just remember the household exploding, and I just kept that going. I think for me, it's like, you know, people always ask me like what my hobby is, because music is a lot of people's hobby. And for me, it's work. So for me, I have to have something that's not music, and sports has just always been there. And I get so sad when it's like not the Vikings season and it's just something I look forward to every week. Now, remember, it's the hardest job in the world. We all know, to be a Vikings fan, but it is also one of the most exciting things that I do for myself, and to have something that's beyond music, and having Vikings season tickets has just always been something that was a goal of mine from a little girl. And now that I get to do it, it's just so much fun for me.
Oh, I just love seeing the pictures. I mean, you know, if Josh Duhamel can be from North Dakota and be a fan, we need to have a female. So I'm like, yes, Kat, yes. So it's great. Like, it's just not the same if I don't see you there. So
I know, it's right. And I love when I get to see you there, when I'm performing, especially because then I get to be down on the field with you. But I did actually get to meet Josh Duhamel almost a year ago. And in one of my not better moments, I think I freaked him out about the whole thing. I was like, I'm from North Dakota. And he was like, who is this fangirl in front of me? Get her away. He's a nice guy, but I think I freaked him out. It was like one of my only times where I have fangirled so hard that I was embarrassed for days.
Oh, I love it. Now he knows who you are, and he's probably your BFF.
Well, let's hope. Or he's still like, oh, that's that weird girl that approached me.
He's like, she's the one I got the restraining order against over there.
Exactly.
Keep her away. Oh my goodness. So Kat, how did you, now I know you're touring with Kid Rock, and every time the song is Photograph, isn't that the title of it? The duo, a picture. This is how my brain works. Photograph. Every single time you guys post that, I'm always like, oh my God, I got to listen to this. It's phenomenal. It's not the only song, obviously, that you do, but how did you get in with him, and how is touring with Kid Rock?
Oh, it's such a crazy story. So one of the other background singers in the band her name is Shannon Kerfman. Also an original North Dakotan who transported herself to here about the same time that I did. And I've known her since I was, I looked up to her in middle school when she had a record deal. She's a blues singer, and she's very prevalent here in the Twin Cities. And so we've been friends. We actually toured together a little bit back in the mid 2000s with my other band called Scarlet Haze. And she had taken the job over 15 years ago with Kid Rock. Just through connecting and networking. And she knew a bunch of his band members that she had played with back in the day. So it was a natural progression for her to take the job. And then after COVID in 2022, I believe, or 2021, the girl that was also in the band, she had become her parents' caretaker during COVID. And so when the tour came back for Kid Rock, she didn't want to do it. She wanted to go take care of her parents, which was rightfully so. So Shannon called me and said, hey, would you drop everything and come on the road with Kid Rock? And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Yes, hang on one second. Let me clear my schedule. And I took the job, and I haven't looked back since. So this is my 4th year with him. Yeah. And he's a powerhouse, obviously one of how many, a dozen people in this music industry that can still sell out an arena. And, he's a phenomenon. I also grew up on his music, so I'm a huge fan, which makes it very weird for me because I love it. But he tours, very intermittently throughout the year. So it works out with my schedule to be able to do that, plus still do my band, plus still do my Christmas shows and kind of what I've been doing for the last years. So it was a perfect fit. And it is incredible to be in front of, 30, 40,000 people per night on that job and get to see the country.
Nuts. That must be nuts.
There's a lot of energy that goes into it, that comes back at you. And again, it's kind of one of those moments like when I was on The Voice, it's like, well, this was everything I've ever dreamed of and worked for my entire life. And it's happening. And it's all about setting goals and keeping it out there and keeping yourself available and being a strong decision maker and being a strong woman in the industry. And I love the choice that was presented in front of me. And I get to live such a great, awesome dream with it.
Let me take care of the business Then I have a question for Kat here. We do want to let you know we're coming from the Aquarius Some Services Studios, and we want to thank one of our newer sponsors, one of our bigger sponsors, Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. Thanks also to a great Minnesota company, helps so many people, Minnesota Masonic Charities. Now, I feel like I do this ad just for Dawn. I want to tell you about Natrium, Natreum.
You just light up with joy.
Natreum.com. Just went on a vacation with my wife, and I use their gummies to just kind of help myself get to sleep, help myself sleep solidly. But, that's what I use their stuff for. Mostly sleep aid, sometimes because I'm an old dude, joint and muscle pain. But anything, it can help you so many different ways in your life. It can help with gut health, can help with, sleeping, can help with pain, can help with stress relief. And has some stuff that works really quickly, some other stuff that just is time elapsed and just helps you relax for the entire evening. Whatever you find that you like, use the code TalkNorth15 to get a 15% discount. That's TalkNorth15 to get a 15% discount at Natrium.com, Natreum. And now I'll start the second half of the show, Kat. I have a lot of friends who are musicians. I know people in bands that have made it. I know people in bands that have almost made it. And it just strikes me as such an incredibly high risk profession where people can be great musicians. They can be in great bands. And if you don't get that one hit that breaks through for you, you can just kind of languish. So how much did you assess the risk of going into this kind of business? And I mean, how do your nerves take it? Because I don't think I can handle that.
That's such a good question. Honestly, out of all of the questions I've been asked over the years, that's really, I've never been asked that. And you're exactly correct. It is one of the riskiest things. It's like winning the lottery, So here's how I would answer that, because it's also 2025. And thank God we've made some weird turns in the music industry, but also some great ones where it's kind of like how you define that success. So back in the day when I had my band Scarlet Haze, mid 2000s, the whole goal was like, get the record deal, get your songs on the radio. That was your only option. I mean, you had to like try to make the thing. I never assessed the risk in my 20s. I just did it fearlessly and maybe stupidly, but also not recklessly, because I was trying to make the best decisions. At the same time, all I could really do is just sort of relax into writing songs and trying to write great songs and trying to write something that I wanted to perform and putting it out there. And I think that being genuine like that really helped us along in that way. Now, yes, we eventually got the record deal. We eventually got the songs on the radio, but it was not exactly how I pictured that. And honestly, it wasn't really, the business of it all was not for me. So now it's like, we can put our stuff on Spotify. I can write songs and put it up tomorrow, record it in my own living room studio, and I can feel good about being an artist because I'm doing it and I'm still putting stuff out there and I'm still writing music. So I feel successful in a way. Am I on the radio? No. But do I care? Not really, because it just is a different way of living that artistry thing at this point. So I feel successful. maybe my bank account isn't as successful as maybe some people are with music. But again, we just talked about it. Like, it's winning the lottery. There's maybe a dozen people out there right now making a ton of money on music. I'm just happy to be able to still have the brain power to write, the creativity still is in my body to want to do it and be that artist and just sort of define success a different way, if that makes sense.
It does. I just wanted to say, I wasn't trying to make it sound like you hadn't been successful. I'm just impressed by people who are willing to take the leap, just knowing that there's no safety net.
I'll tell you what, it definitely weeds out the weak. I mean, because it's not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. And there's so much heartbreak, but when you have the little wins, it is, for me, that's always what I wanted to do. So it's very fulfilling to me still. But yeah, a lot of people don't last because it's not easy.
But Kat, you get to, in a sense, hear me out, control your own destiny. Because like you said, you have your things with Kid Rock, you have your Kat Perkins Christmas. When you were doing the Folsom Prism experience, which is amazing. Like, you have these things that you have created in addition to your songs. Like, these are like chunks of your life and tangible things that you can say that I have created and you've sustained. That must make you feel proud.
It does. It really, really does. At the end of the day, of course, I feel so full by all of that. And the team that comes along with all of those things, all the musicians, all of the people that end up collaborating with me, whether they like it or not, or all the people that, still surround the operation for me and believe in me. Of course, that feels great. And there was a point in my life where I did feel like I got to determine my own destiny and make the decision. And for me, it's more about live performing. It's about being in front of those people on stage, pouring my heart out through my voice. It's a lot more for that than it is for me to have, a song on Spotify. I still do it, but it means more to me to be able to do a show for people than it does for me to have people streaming me on Spotify, if that makes sense. But I have control and I love that. And at this point in my career, it has worked. And there's a lot of things that didn't work, but I also learned from that and was able to grow and keep pushing forward how I wanted to do it. As you talk about strong women, I've learned a lot from you, Dawn Mitchell, being a strong woman and a woman in
How is that?
But,
you've seen me sing in the shower? No. Heard me, I should say.
A strong woman who's making her own decisions and at the end of the day being happy, that just like you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the freedom to do that is big.
Yes,
there's a kind of a freedom and a freedom that maybe this also comes with age of making mistakes is not going to kill you. Like, you like you said, you're always willing to take the chance. It's like you have to be willing to do that, fearless.
Yes, you do. And sometimes it feels like jumping out of a plane at 10,000 feet, but at the same time, when it works and you land, it feels so good and you want to do it again and again and again.
Right. It's almost like a runner's high without the running.
Yes.
We were just talking about that before we got on here. No running. Like, my running days are over. But
if you see me running, you should be running too, because something's wrong.
You're being chased.
Yes.
So let me ask you this too. I'm always just, I would like to say it's just the journalist in me, but I think it's just that I'm always curious of what makes people tick and how they deal with adversity. And I remember years ago, I think you had mentioned to me briefly that you had vocal cord surgery. Is that like, how did that define you? How did you get over that? And then, because I don't see any evidence of it harming your voice at all. Like, what happened, if you don't mind saying, and how did you mentally and physically get over that when singing is your profession?
Yeah. So when we were talking about the voice earlier and I had went into early retirement, that was the reason. I had this record deal. We were traveling and suddenly I was unable to do my craft. And then it was a quick discovery, thank God, of, what is the actual deal. And I had this cyst on my left vocal cord some people get cysts on their wrists or on their head. You know, like here's mine on my vocal cord. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
It's just kind of of course, that's Murphy's Law. And I had to quit. I mean, I had to stop. Obviously, I had surgery pretty much as an emergency situation in the middle of a tour where we had the record deal and all the things. And honestly, you know, it was the lowest point of my entire life. Still to this day, there was such a weird grieving process of like, maybe I will never be able to do that again. And there was so much rehab involved. I mean, I'm sure that you've talked to sports players that go through the same thing when they tear an ACL or, you know, go through something like it's not fun. And
it's your livelihood. It's who you are.
It's who I am. And music did define me. So I did not want to let the surgery define the new chapter, but I had to accept the fate. But what happened, and I speak about this a lot to corporations, and I do a lot of motivational speaking, but this is the real thing behind that for me was that I had to change my sights. There was no other option. I had to change my sights. I had to change my trajectory, and I had to change everything that I knew about who I was for the moment just to survive. I mean, I needed to pay bills and I couldn't sing. And so that's how I became a nanny. And it was hard. Like, right? Like emotionally, physically, all the things. But I had such a strong group of friends and people that surrounded me to lift me up in that moment. And it lasted about 3.5 years where I started to be like, okay, I think I'm ready to sing again. I did a lot of speech therapy. I did, you know, eventually some singing lessons, and I kind of got back on the horse. But at that moment, I never really honestly thought that I would do it for a living again. It was so out of reach for me. And I was really happy in my life becoming a nanny. But the cool thing is that the kids that I nannied were huge boys fans. So the whole reason why I knew about that show was because they watched it every single week. And I got to watch it with them. Yes. And then, of course, then that happened. So it was just, I mean, without having that huge turn in my life, I would not be who I am today. And I also might not be as fearless as I am today because I did have to overcome that. And man, I was bound and determined to do it because music is my life. And it all came back. So, you know, it's part of the story, but it was a dark part of the story, but it showed me light.
Oh my God. See, that makes me love you even more. See, that's what I'm saying. This is what I thrive off of. I not that I love people to go through adversity, but I think when people go through it and then they circle back to what they're meant to do, I always want to like, how did you do it? How did you hit the bottom and how did you come back? And then just to see the success that follows it, because I hate the term, and I know it's what everyone says, but your authentic self, but it's true, right? There's no other words really, but that's who you are in your being, to sing and to share that gift. But, you know, it doesn't come like I'm saying, I hated to start this interview off with, you're on The Voice, because your dad was your music teacher, like music was your life. And then to have it taken away and then to get it back, it's like, it's a Hollywood movie, Kat. Like that's how I look at it.
I mean, you know, honestly, they like, if you watch the reality shows, like The Voice or American Idol, they always have these stories like this. And they really didn't use this part of my life in the backstory on The Voice. They just used my rock band and that I was a nanny coming out of nowhere. Yeah. So it was nice after the fact to be able to, tell this side of the story, because it was rough and it was wild, and I, became a better human on the other side. The hard part was being inside of it in that moment. And now I know I needed that to be where I am today. And I needed that to push me to become more successful and happy.
To be the full Kat.
Yes, to be the full cat.
The full happy cat. Yeah. I love it. That's like the perfect place to end this. Although I do have to do a little sneak peek because Jim is being very modest. Jim is in a band himself. He's in a band called the bar chords. He's not saying it, so I'm outing him to you. He is amazing. He plays at Glicks. He plays at other places. I know Jim's like, he's all embarrassed right now, but amazing. So I feel like I'm getting like two musicians together in a beautiful way. Cause I'm like the karaoke girl. I'm not, I sing in the shower and karaoke in school, like chorus, but like you guys are in bands. That's amazing. Right, Jim?
Well, Dawn has been on stage with my band.
Jim,
I have.
Oh, this is amazing. You guys need to collab.
We do. The only thing I'll say is, we didn't actually invite Dawn on the stage. She just took over.
Yeah, that's not true. But
it's not true. It's actually not true. We did invite her. She stayed 5 songs too long, but we did invite her.
It's only because Chris Hockey was there too.
That's true too.
Kat, next time we're going to invite you. You just come up on the stage and take over.
Yes. I would love to do that.
It's just fun. It's just fun. Well, Kat,
Jim,
thank
I have
you.
to come see you sometime for sure.
Yes.
Oh, well, we all are welcome. And it's, although it's a little intimidating when real musicians come hang around, it's probably good for us. It probably.
Well, that's when we get the mini Kat breakout, right?
There you go.
The full Kat experience. Like, it's almost like when I was in college and we would go to this, like, in Boston, it was called Great Scott. I don't know if it's a small little, like, bar. And there was this band called Soft White Underbelly. And I was like, they're really good. They're really good. And someone goes, yeah, it's the Blue Oyster Cult, Dawn. Like, that's just their bar name. I'm like, what? What?
Oh my God, I didn't see that.
I know, like they would just like random, like big names would show up under pseudonyms sometimes in these college bars. So that's when, like, Kat just pops up on the night on Saturday. That's what you got to do. Yeah.
I love that so much.
I'll be your new manager, you guys. No.
Yes, please. We're gonna need some Miss Mitchell in our lives to get our trajectory on point.
Oh, hilarious. I'm like, and then Kid Rock shows up,
Yes.
He'll be Adult Pebble, like whatever his name he wants to be, you just kind of make it up as you go along.
Adult Pebble, I like it.
Adult Pebble. Well, that's hilarious. Oh, Kat, thank you so much. I've wanted to have you on for so long because I just adore you as a person, first and foremost. Your music is amazing. I could listen to you sing I could listen to you sing the phone booth, literally. The phone book. We don't even have a phone book anymore, right? I could listen to
we
it.
can make one.
I listened to you on the farm when you played out at the Shops farm.
Yes.
Like, I will listen to you sing anywhere. And if someone's listening and they have not heard you sing, they're missing out. Please Google Kat Perkins, find out where she's playing, who she's playing with, what one of her bands she's doing something with. You have to experience Kat Perkins in person. I just, your joy just exudes when you sing, and in person, like, you feel it, Kat. I don't know if you know that, but you touch people. You really do.
Thank you so much for saying that. It's always a pleasure to do what I love and to hopefully make other people happy.
Yes. And she meows on cue. I'm just saying.
Meow.
Kat, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.